Yeah.
Now, speaking of hating apps and services, how about channel stores for sites like YouTube? Here's what this means. Apparently, YouTube is building a system allowing users to subscribe to streaming services right through the YouTube app. Hear me out, Will. Let me paint a picture. Let me give you a proposal. Part of the problem with having these streaming services is going to all these individual places and logging into this variety of apps or websites. It's annoying. And many have attempted to tackle this type of universal search where you would get a streaming box of some kind and you would search for a piece of content and then it would surface all the places you could possibly get it. But you'd still have to be signed into all these accounts. You'd still have to have all these apps installed. And then they'd all have to be running as you like flip between them. What if you could subscribe to HBO Max, or if you could subscribe to Disney Plus or Netflix right within YouTube? And you could, since you go on YouTube every day anyway, you could have all that content showing up in one universal place where you would bundle together. I'm just painting you this magical utopian picture of content.
But I guess that's what they're doing, right?
That's the pitch YouTube is making.
Yeah.
They'll have to go to the likes of Netflix and so on and say, here's how the revenue split is going to work, and here's why we think you need to be there, and here's how many extra subscriptions we think you would get if you were available here specifically and not just individually.
Wow, that's strange.
Now,
Netflix in YouTube.
Now, you could go even crazier and say YouTube themselves willing to take a lower cut if you bundle them together. Like, imagine Willie Doo wanted Disney Plus, Netflix, and YouTube Premium. You get a discount. Let me say you want, let's say you wanted HBO Max, an Apple TV Plus. Apple probably will never go for this, and a YouTube Premium. Here's the discount you're going to get. Or it could be a Peacock or a Hulu Plus or whatever versions of premium services are out there. Now, I'm sure many people wanted to avoid this because it just reminds you of how everything is segmented all over the place, and it's kind of painful and frustrating. But it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. And if you want to watch all these things and all these shows, and sometimes you can't even remember where you watched it. You're like, what, the thing I'm recommending to you, did I watch it on, was it Netflix or HBO or where was that one? And it's annoying.
Yeah. But if actually YouTube goes through with this and is successful, then, I mean, they own the ecosystem at that point, which would be kind of cool, to be honest.
Well,
it would be really easy to access things. That's what everyone wants.
Oh, man. Can you imagine you had everything, all your sports, all your events, all your shows and everything, and it was one app?
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool idea, but you understand the argument that those services would have. They would sit there and say, well, we feel like you're getting all the value there. And YouTube would have to say to them, well, we get, billions of visitors, and don't you want a chunk of that?
Yeah, that's a big ask.
That's how this would work. And some of these companies like HBO Max, you kind of wonder, because they pump so much money into these productions, the production is still the product. It's this idea of this really special piece of content, and you really want to get it in front of as many eyeballs as possible. But it's a lot harder to convince somebody to download another app, create another subscription, input their credit card again, where they already have all that on YouTube. It's right there.
Yeah.
And if I could just simply click trial subscription for whatever service, and I can do it in an account where all my credentials already are, you can understand the convenience of that, and more people taking a chance on watching a show that they might not otherwise watch, and so on. But there's arguments in either direction for this. If you centralize the power in one place as well, that can be problematic too, where maybe if these companies aren't recognizing the same amount of revenue or the same margin, then the type of content they make changes and it becomes more YouTube-like and less ambitious. And I don't know, I'm just trying to imagine all the variety of arguments that could exist here.
Well, can't YouTube just be in the background in terms of like the UI and branding? Can it just be like, kind of like Roku? Like you have the UI and then it shows all the services. YouTube could be in the background.
Well, that would be bad for those of us that are more on the YouTube side, because it would you get this splash page, which would all of a sudden amp up all this high production value stuff. And then the stuff you love on YouTube would be buried. You'd be encouraged to spend all these hours watching HBO instead of Later. Well, take it easy over there.
Yeah. I don't know.
You got to find a balance to it. I mean, the ideal scenario is you're looking at a recommendation page. This is the other thing YouTube can say. They can say, with our recommendation engine, we guarantee that people who should watch Stranger Things are going to see Stranger Things or whatever.
Yeah.
Example,
Yeah.
They could be sitting there saying, our algorithm is the algorithm. Now, I don't know how people would deal with paywalls being all over the place, because you might get this suggested thumbnail and you want to click and watch the episode. I don't know how that would work. Would it be ad subsidized? There's all kinds of things happening in this market that you never thought you'd see. You never thought you'd see ad breaks on Netflix. Guess what? It's coming.
Yeah.
So all bets are off now. Everything is on the table and everybody wants your eyeballs. And they're going to go wherever those eyeballs are. And they are on YouTube. I'll tell you that right now, Will. And the clips from these shows are on YouTube. And guess what else is on YouTube? All the actors that are out there promoting these shows, where do they promote them? On YouTube. They go to see Wired and they go to see Hot Ones and whatever. It's like, oh, there's a new season of Stranger Things. Guess who's all over your recommended page?
Yeah, that would be really interesting if it shows Netflix and then Stranger Things and then the content within YouTube within that app.
Right? Absolutely. Push you to watch the whole episode.
Yeah.
You can imagine these things. And you either love it and you're excited, or you're terrified.
No, there's potential.
You either love
I see it.
or you're terrified.
I'm sold.
Or both.